What is up, everyone? I'm in San Francisco, California for Fleet Week, which means the Blue Angels fighter jets do air shows above the city for, I don't know, 3 days. And then there's the Italian American Festival. And so I want you to see this beautiful view of the Golden Gate Bridge, the bay. And I don't know if you can see it. There's also the Palace of Fine Arts. And so I'm just going to drop in for a message here. The tutoring that we're going to start on Monday, October 9th might be pushed out to October 11th, which is a Wednesday, and then extend into the Friday. And I really didn't want to do that because I like consistency, and I'm thinking maybe we're going to have the tutoring Mondays and Wednesdays. And of course, I have to look at everyone's schedule to make that determination. Could be a Tuesday, Thursday, but then there's only one time slot for that, and I think it's 5 to 6. So I just want to encourage you to, if you haven't already, review the letter. I think in some of the emails I call them a decision letter. And recognize that when you do a case study, there's a thing called a control variable, right? Which means that if you're studying the growth of apples, then in different locations of the world, you're not going to study different kinds of apples, right? You're going to study the same kind of apple. How does it do in San Francisco? How does it do in Houston, Texas? Right, you get the point. So the reason behind these 6 or 7 requirements, most of them are things like show up to every session, do all the homework, no excuse. Because if you're successful, we want to say that you have the biggest chance of doing that. On the flip side, if there's something that's not working, something that's not being successful, I want to be able to point to myself as the teacher tutor as the cause behind that. I don't want to say, well, I'm not sure if Joseph didn't reach his goals as quickly because, he missed 3 out of the 10 weeks, or, he sometimes did the homework the morning of and it seemed really rushed. Does that make sense? So, number one, benefit to you is that you have a better likelihood of success, because I found in my teaching career that what made me the best teacher in the district for my students passing the LPAC, the CELT test, and the STAR reading, and advancing their language development levels, because I taught ESL, English as a Second Language, or English Language Development as it's now called. And I was successful at that, not just because I cared about my students and I cared about the writing and I did really great things in the classroom. Of course, I got the most training than anybody in the district because I pushed myself to get the training whenever it became available. I said, yeah, I want to go to that one. Yeah, I've been to that Thinking Maps training last year, but I want to go again. And then I asked for help. I asked for mentors to guide me and show me, am I actually implementing this practice properly? And what do you suggest here? What do you suggest there? But one of the things that one of the teachers said about my teaching wasn't even anything about me, and I so appreciate it, because she said, this goes to show you, Mr. Shah, and she was talking to the other teachers as well, this is what happens when you run a program with fidelity. What does that mean? What does that have to do with these 6 or 7 things, such as make sure you're engaged with your camera, make sure you do the homework, all those things, you show up, 100% attendance every week, every session, on time, etc. That's called fidelity, which means you do something as it's designed, and just by doing those things alone, you increase your likelihood of success. There are 2 pillars, or 3 pillars actually: organization, ideas, and writing technique. It's not enough for me to say, hey everybody, this is how you write a 5-paragraph persuasive essay. It's, do you have the time in your schedule to actually engage with the writing process? Or are you just going, oh my gosh, tutoring is in 45 minutes, I haven't done my homework? Okay, so it's taking the time, it's relaxing. Like you hear the birds singing here, right? That's how the tutoring should be. Like a walk in the park, where it's not a lot of hard work. I mean, it is in a sense, but it's spread out over several days, right? I don't want you guys to rack your brain and work really hard. Because if you follow my directions during this 10-week tutoring, you're actually going to work probably less hard than you might imagine you will as you're thinking about the tutoring and you're thinking about the next 10 weeks. Make sense? All right, I'm rambling at this point, but I just wanted to talk to you from this beautiful location here in what appears to be a heat wave here in San Francisco. And again, I'll try to give you a better view another time. See there, beautiful Golden Gate Bridge. And by the way, I was born not too far from here. You'll see Golden Gate Park because it's a bunch of trees. And well, that actually might be the Presidio, so Golden Gate Park's that way. And so I'm back here in my native city, but lived in Bakersfield most of my life because I moved there in 1994. So anyway, have a good day everybody, and I will see you next week.